Hi, Jason. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Manuela.
Yesterday I had a chance to talk about your movie with the actors,
Oh,
and
great.
Manny and Charlie say to me that for you was really important to stay away from rom-com cliches. And I would like to know how did you avoid them, and was this your main goal when you start working on this project?
I think it's impossible to avoid rom-com cliches. When and it was important to me but there's just certain things that that are why they're there and they work so well in the genre, and like the wedding, like the breakup, like these moments. And so it was less how do we avoid them and more how do we use them to tell a story that feels fresh. How do we incorporate them into a story that doesn't feel like something you've seen before. So obviously, there's things, and like for example, like you're always gonna have that wedding, but putting it on a boat where all of our characters are trapped together was kind of fun once they all realize they're there, and starting the film with the breakup. Starting the films kind of like moving that from the end to the middle, or the and of course, not having the two characters run to each other's arms and kiss at the end, but have this kind of more subtle moment of realization. I think that along the way there were several things like that, which is okay. These are these yes, these are things you've seen before, but I think that there's something comforting about romantic comedies, and that's why I love them, because there are things you know you're gonna get when you see a romantic comedy, and I think that in our very kind of unpredictable times right now, like I find myself returning to movies like this, movies I've seen before, comfort food movies, and so I just wanted to make something like that. And so yes, there are going to be those those things that you've seen before as far as like the tropes, but how do we but the thing that I honestly made it fresh was those actors. What you haven't seen is Manny or Charlie or Jenny or Gina or Scott or like that's what makes these feel not cliche or not something you've seen before, because you're seeing it with these really kind of these characters you've never been with before. Yes, I've been to a wedding in a romantic comedy, but not like this, not with these characters, and so for me, it was how to use them to make these moments feel special and new.
And this movie, of course, is written by two great screenwriters,
Amazing,
Isaac
yeah.
and Elizabeth Berger. And I would like to know, in your opinion, which is the strength of their writing? Why is this comedy so brilliant?
I think that they're just so. I mean, because I think that there's a lot of writers who are great with structure, and but they maybe aren't as good with dialogue, or they're good with dialogue. They can really write funny scenes and funny characters, but the story, doesn't have as tight a structure. And that when I read the script, it was the structure of it was so kind of clean and simple, and the characters were all so fleshed out, and I think that they have such empathy for their characters, where there's no good guys and bad guys. You have all these people and they're breaking up with each other and they're getting together, and there was no villain when I read this. There was no like the bad guy ex-boyfriend or something like that. They have such care for all of their characters. They love them, and so to have that balance of really funny, really unique three-dimensional characters and a story that that never slows down. That kind of like once you're off to they just know how to keep you interested and keep you watching. So I think, and they do that with everything that they write, and that's and so yeah. So when I read their script, it was like I knew immediately that I had to make it because of just their writing.
You said before, the cast is amazing, and I would like to know. I think about the two main characters, Jenny and Charlie, have comedic background. Do you think that this aspect brings something more to the movie? And did they have room for improvisation? I think about the karaoke scene or the pool sequences, which is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like that was the most exciting thing about making this, was getting to work with two actors like Charlie and Jen who have those comedy skills, but are also really thoughtful and really like in their approach. It's not it's not we're just gonna come and be silly and see what happens. We're gonna improv. They really like, it all comes from a place where they knew who their character was that they were playing, and like and Jenny, not only being a stand-up comedian, is like this really gifted author who writes these kind of beautiful, poetic books. So like I think that they both have that duality, and I think that especially for Charlie, people see him as this kind of zany comedic guy, but he's really what I loved about him was that he really had put a lot of thought into the comedy itself. I think this would be funny because because of where the character is in his life, and yes, I tried to create. I like to say that I just tried to kind of build a sandbox for them to play in, and there was in certain scenes there were more emotional. And the script was so good. We didn't need to improvise, and then there were certain moments where, like the karaoke scene, for example, I just knew let's make sure the cameras are catching everything, and they were like they were even saying like try this song, try this song. We were like frantically looking for songs to play them while they were singing, and it was really a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Manuela.
Bye. Bye bye.
Bye.